Okay, good afternoon. My name is Josué Montiel Gabriel. I'm going to present a movie and the small exhibition about the project of the room number two, which in this case was a of course. What is a course? Is course to obtain certification in SolidWorks at level one. Of course, what is about? Will you try? This exhibition will with the explanation of three pieces and two ensembles. Each of the ensembles have certain a level of degree of difficulty since they are repeats my for certification in exam. Okay, next diapositiva. Mm, mm, Next diapositiva, no cambia. Ok, ya. Este, Okay. Okay, but because they are going to three pieces and two assemblies, well, my project, how can remember, is about certification of the exam. That's why when I took the exam, they presented with a three piece and two assemblies, just to taste points each of the piece. I will try to explain what method I use the indicates I use they were amply to obtain a good result my certification this puntaje is large. My certification I profe Gustavo. Okay, PS number one. His name is preferred at the rim. Step number one, to carry out the design, first the frontal planning was selected in order to make the strokes here to called the symmetry was a use the symmetry, which is like a mirror of the entities of to be able to scoot in the line was drawn in the enter of the gene. The line was used and reference that Beijing to draw on the race side with respective measurements that were worked in millimeter. I work and millimeters already having the right side drag the symmetry as an actinate and its actinate is a condition was a poly. In this example, the draw line was taken to 10 seater order in order to create a mirror of it, resulting in a completely defined sketch. Step number two, here an operation called distortion by revolution was allowed to be carried out. This function is that and needs an axis disorder to be able to extrude and figure 20. This axis that was extracted is shown with an arrow. That's why the extrusion took the form of a ring because the extrusion was 360 degrees along the axis. Okay, this step two. Well, step step number three. Here the frontal file was taken to my sketch as shown in the image. It can be start across type. Drawing was made of the front face where is one place to the castle fruit good material living and only in the ground particles and living on the wall particles was made the code by institution operation. The driving was the two converted entities by selecting the larger and the smaller circle and going to make the two lines on one vertical and the other diagonal. Having the piece defined, we proceed to cut entity that from the links and are not used really. Really having to cut a new operation called operation matrix was reduced this consistent is performed the same thing that has been selected. In this case, the code operation was reduced because it is the code that was need to multiply its selection of the operation matrix was select so that the variety was like, equal the separation and with a number repetition of 50 codes in order to have view on the keys as seen in the image. En la image, vista isométrica, vista alzado, vista planta, his vistas de pies alzado, vista lateral. Okay, well, pies, pies number two. His name is Rhyme Without Performation Setup is past Setup. Number one, the piece is very similar to the previous on Sainte. It was done in the frontal plane and also worked in millimeter measurements. What was done was a construction line along the x-axis and start driving with looks like line and rectangle on the show using dimensions to other day measurements as shown in the image below. Step number two, using the extrusion by revolution operation, we proceed to select the exact market in order to create the extrusion with 360 characters so that it will take the shape of a plate. Step step number three, the front force are selected to make a sketch when I will be studying with distance of 10 millimeters toward the front to make the sketch the same as part 3 was ample and conversation and the least large of the circle or latte I use two lines, one width each are and the other width are eroded. The sketch I worked and millimeter with man also 60 millimeters 60 millimeters radius and the radius of the 10 millimeters and the separation of the two lines was 40 millimeters from the center. Step number 4 were processed to extrude the drawing made and the front piece and the piece as shown in the image. Well, step number 5 already having the extrusion that was necessary to create the symmetry of operation. This consisted in replicating the operation made in the piece. In the case the extrusion operation made progress will be used with equal separation characteristics and a 9 reparation toe of the central axis in the order to have and the circular movement having the result that is a show en figure. En figure de la parte derecha aquí muestra. La pies, de pies, vista isométrica, vista planta, vista alzada, vista lateral. In the program de SolidWorks. Muy. Pies number 3. ¿Cuál es cilindro? ¿Cuál cilindro? His name is and único cylinder. Stop number 1. A frontal plane was used to make two circles and the center with the diameter for at 57.50 millimeters and the small and the largest of 88.90 millimeters. The work was carried out with the measured millimeters using one arc of 100 and the diameter and the line of midpoint of the left side as shown. The mission were only showed to seize the angle position, which as shown is 20 degrees. Fair select line is another the circles were trimmed with the identical trimming tool to make that a look like symmetry. Step number 2, having fully defined this case, were processed to apply a well-known operation. His name is obtain instruction with the leg of of 44 millimeters of the so that a solid piece of wood and remain in the three dimensions resulting in the image below. Step number three, finally cuts and extrusion for protestation were ample indication parts of I can't say how the first cut has a characteristic a rectangular and is the part with dimension of 20 for 20 millimeters for 45 millimeters and displaying a cut of the next um, for the second cut. The flat part of the piece was like walking and drawing a wall diameter of 11 millimeters and separation from the base of the base 13 millimeters with a width of 20 and the boost applying could a width at the penetration of those 80 millimeters. Another the good amount was at 77 millimeters in the diameter with a depth of 20 and finally the extrusion was made of the front with rectangular already made in the initial sketch. The extrusion was 12 millimeters of the piece and the next piece okay is this piece as I use lines circles for su fabrication. uh, his vistas isométricas, vista planta, vista alzada, vista lateral. Okay, next ensamblaje number one. Submitting important toning at the for ensemble to be positioned correct is initial base mode with the origin. It depends on one the position of the origin. This ensemble is a made up of three pieces. Piece one large cylinder, the green, color green, two pieces little cylinder, color blue, three pieces union chain, color yellow. His ensamblaje number two, ensemble number two, equal and something important to line is it for ensemble to be positioned correct. It's a case. Piece one is position in the origin. La PS1 is important, is very important positions and the origins, because ahí, porque ahí se demuestra la figura de, ahí se calcula los ciertos grados de libertad. Ok, bueno, ok, well, piece number one, and cylinder with a red, color purple. Piece number two, cylinders, color rosa bush. Piece number three, balances are red. Two palettes color red. Okay. Conclusion. Ok, pues, vista isométrica, el ensamblaje número 2, vista sumétrica, vista alzada, vista lateral y vista frontal. Okay, and then a good period is tied to a good conclusion where obtained that in the sector science related to seeing basic mechanical parts and also to understand three-dimensional plans in the SolidWorks program. Thanks to high performance of the teacher and the student, I was possible to obtain acceptable certification. Several mouse techniques were also learned where the use of the mouse and the correct use tools were validated to be and recognition with another level of the SolidWorks. Okay, my finally is my presentation. Good, good and right. Finally is called alt array. Ok, y luego de ahí cómo era de aquí. No me digas que no grabé a la verga. Ok, tengo que dejar de presentar. Tengo que salir. Me salgo.